This week on Dr. Phil. Meet with Beowulf. Once the hero of the Danes turned mad with power.
When he was ready to fight, he brought a heavy sword hammered by giants, strong and blessed with their magic. For Grendel's mother was a mean, greedy, savage, devilish she-wolf who was almost unstoppable.
Thanks for joining us, Beowulf.
Thank you.
Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our great audience?
Oh, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know me, and there should be very few of you, I'm the one who slayed Grendel, saved the hero, saved the Danes. That's you guys. And, yeah, I'm the hero, the king.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on here, Beowulf.
My pleasure.
So, how about I start this interview off with this question? We were wondering, why did you choose to involve yourself with Hrothgar and the Danes?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of this warrior's lifestyle, that we live. But we're all about, companionship and fate. And I really feel like it was my fate to help Hrothgar, my companion.
Interesting. Well, can you go ahead and tell us, did you find it necessary to rip off Grendel's arm? Was that really called for?
Are you kidding me? How else would I show this great Danish population of mine? Oh, yeah, I see you up there. Thank you. That I am the Danes' hero, How else am I supposed to show that without some type of trophy to take home, And nothing fit better than his arm.
Do you realize that this is a big problem?
Well, I feel a sense of pride. I saved all these people, You know what you should be asking? How these people feel, huh? What about your population of the Danes, huh? Yeah, I hear you again. Yeah, you in the blue. I like you. But you should be asking how they feel, I saved them. I am the reason that Grendel no longer attacks Harrow Hall every night. I saved lives.
Well, thank you for joining us, Beowulf, even though you're clinically insane. Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Wiglaf, Beowulf's friend. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Dr. Phil Show. If you were listening before our commercial break, you heard that we have a very special guest. Please welcome Beowulf's friend, Wiglaf. Thank you for joining us. Let's get straight to business then. So why did you stay with Beowulf whenever the other 14 warriors left?
Well, I understand why people might think that Beowulf is a little bit crazy, but I just remember how we used to sit in the mead hall drinking and boasting about how brave we were going to be when Beowulf needed us, and I've just always kind of had that sense of companionship whenever I'm with Beowulf.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Is there any last words you'd like to say?
Well, Beowulf, even though you've kind of gone insane, I just want you to know that I'm always going to be your companion.
Well, that's very touching of you. Thank you for your time. Tune in next week when we interview the painter of the Brooklyn Crucifixion, Asher Lill.
by introducing Wiglaf, Beowulf's friend. Dr. Phil asks why I, Wiglaf, was so loyal to Beowulf. I respond with a quote from the book, which recalled the times I spent in the mead hall boasting with the other men about how loyal I would always be to Beowulf. Due to a lack of time in the show's segment on television, the interview was cut short and I left with my last words declaring my loyalty to Beowulf.
Alright, so I played Beowulf in this interview with Dr. Phil. I'm going to focus mostly on the actual interview part, but I tried to make him one of the bad interviews, you know, like he disrespects the interviewer, he doesn't really care what he has to say, he just cares about him boasting, and that's shown through his attitude whenever even when he sits down, you know, he raises the leg rest and lowers it down as to like he's the most important person in that room, whenever it's the interviewer, which should be the most important person. We decided to use asyndeton in the interview because we really wanted to delve deep into the details of Grendel's mother. And asyndeton is generally used when you want to add emphasis on detail, such as the devilishness that is her. You know, we didn't use direct quotes from the epic, but each detail was a word used to describe her in the epic. And so we really wanted to emphasize that, and so we deleted the conjunctions in order to add more effect to it. Some of the answers I chose because I wanted to make Beowulf more self-centered, you know, not only to help with the interview aspect, but because of what I believe Beowulf was in the epic. He's only really cared about himself, kind of. Him killing Grendel at the start was his way of saying, hey, I'm the greatest. Here I am. You're saved. Which isn't a bad thing until it got out of hand whenever he begins to attack Grendel's mother and the dragon. I feel like Grendel only cared that people knew him, that his fame had reached, you know, globally around all the people so that they know that he was the savior. I don't really feel like he was intending to save everybody for everybody. He was saving everybody so that he could be said to have saved everybody, which is shown towards the end of the epic, where he asks them to build a shrine for him whenever that's not heroic at all. Like, if you want a shrine built for you, but you don't usually want to tell other people that you want the shrine built, if they support you, if they believe that you were their hero, they will find a way to worship you in some form or fashion. So I just really feel like that's very self-centered, and that's why I wanted to tie him in with a bad interview, so that way people can understand not to be very self-centered during the interview, to respect their interviewer, whether it be Dr. Phil in a broom, you know, for a job even. But yeah, thank you for watching.